time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
The Pet Show. But I know you do. So if you care about animals, you care about wildlife, you care about the environment, and really, really want to try to understand your dogs and cats, well, how can I say this? Almost as well as they understand your behavior. Maybe you're confused about your dog or cat's behavior or just want to improve their lifestyle. I'm sure you do. You know what to do. Stay tuned because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. That's right, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch, you know that by now. Bring those adorable, furry little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time, once again, to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, hello, everybody. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you have a question or a comment, want to share a great story about your dog or your cat, want to find out why they're behaving the way they do, your cat peed on your bed, your dog is humping everything in sight, your dog doesn't get along with dogs when you take them for a walk, your cat's not dealing well with the new cat that came into your household, they're not eating properly, they're not housebroken, they're chewing, they're barking, they're digging, you get the idea. That's what we do here on The Pet Show. We help people resolve any issues that you may be having with your pets, and as I stress every week, a lot more likely, any issues that you may be having or they may be having. Let me tell you, your dogs and cats have a lot more trouble dealing with you than you have dealing with them. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on this show as well. But right now, if you have a question or a comment, your dog is jumping or barking or digging, your cat is not responding, not using the litter box, or just want to share a great story. I talk about this every week. We have thousands and thousands of listeners to The Pet Show, both here and my national Canadian show. And very often when someone calls up and they say, Warren, I adopted this dog, or maybe 20 years ago, I lived with this amazing dog I picked up on the street, and what an incredible life he had and how he made my life better. That encourages other people to actually maybe go out and adopt or rescue a dog just like you did. So if you have a comment, a question, or just want to share a great story about an amazing dog or cat you've lived with, great time to give me a call. By the way, did I mention that everyone that calls into the show, if I like you, or even if I don't like you, everyone that calls into the show and gets to talk to me live on today's show will, in fact, get let me rephrase that. Your dog or cat will get an absolutely amazing gift. Many of the items I give away here on The Pet Show, we're not talking about squeaky toys, folks. Many of the items I give away are $25, $35, $45, even $50. So if you have a question, you have a comment, you want to share a great story, you want to brag a little bit about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. The phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-KRLA. If you're more of a numbers person, that's 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. And as I said, if you call and we talk live, a great gift will be on its way for your best furry little buddy. By the way, if you want to ask a question or watch how I do the show, I'm broadcasting from my home in Arizona today. You can go to my YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live there. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. By the way, hey, Alex, check out the shirt I'm wearing. See the shirt I'm wearing? It says, if I go, they go. You know how long I've had this T-shirt? 2005. When I got this T-shirt, President Bush was in office. This was the Hurricane Katrina. After Hurricane Katrina, I was asked to talk to people all around this country about how to make sure that they had a safety plan for their dogs and cats. And I worked with this great organization. It was a combination of all the stations around the country and advertising companies and government. It was just interesting. I was doing like maybe 500-600 stations a week talking about how to prepare your dog for or cat for any type of serious problem like Hurricane Katrina. So I've had this shirt now 2005. I'm not good at math. That's a lot of years years, Alex, an awful lot of years. Then he said to me the other day, hey, throw something away, will you, Warren? Just throw something away. I keep it all because every T-shirt I have, every one, has a little bit of a meaning for me. This one, Hurricane Katrina, and it says, if I go, they go. And man, did I get a lot of comments on this shirt when I was wearing it, because quite honestly, if they go, I go. If I go, they go. It's that simple. Hey, give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me tell you what's coming up on today's show. Do I sound a little weird today? Alex, do I sound a little strange? Maybe I do. Let me tell you why. I had my 50th COVID booster shot yesterday. And you know I'll have a weakened immune system. I talk about it on the air. And I got to tell you, this last COVID booster I took yesterday, man, it knocked the heck out of me. And I'm feeling it a little bit today. But I'm here. I'm here because your dogs and cats need me. You don't, but your dogs and cats need me to help you understand why they do the things they do. Hey, great show coming up, by the way. Let me tell you what I have planned for today's show. Are you living, listen to me carefully now, are you living with a rude, assertive dog? How can you tell? Coming up, the signs your dog is a bit of a bully. That coming up on the show. But more importantly, I'll tell you why that's all about. Also coming up, are you using more makeup? I mean, really, are you using more makeup because your cat's waking you up early and you're not getting enough sleep? Help is on the way. How to get your cats to sleep in. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. And this is something so dear to my heart. I've talked about this for years. How does your unpredictability affect your pets, specifically your dogs? It can affect them in many ways. It can cause hyperactivity, destructiveness. It can cause aggression. It can cause displacement behavior, which we'll talk about, or even withdrawal, are all ways that a dog may react to your lack of consistency. Also coming out, I wanted to do this last week, but I kind of ran out of time. How often, I'm going to ask this, how often do people wash their pets' toys? How often do you wash your dog's toys? How often do you wash your cat toys? I know it may sound like, well, you don't have to really wash them, but I'm telling you, it can make a major difference in your dog or cat's health. And we'll talk about how often and how to wash your pet's toys coming up a little bit later. As always, plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. Lots of great stuff to give away. So if your pet is jumping, chewing, scratching, maybe confused about the litter box, not housebroken, doesn't get along with other dogs and some people, and your dog believes if it moves, he has to hump it, give me a call. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. And the question of the day is, I was watching Molly the other day, and I said, it's like looking in the mirror. It's like looking in the mirror. She has my personality. Now, Willie, on the other hand, is more of a Denise personality. Molly is my personality. So that's the question of the day. Do you and your pets have similar personalities? Give me a call. If you get through, a great gift will be on its way. By the way, on today's show, I'm going to be giving away hugs and kisses for your dogs. I'll be giving away copies of my best-selling books, All Natural Herbal Flea Spray, those amazing T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright, a lot of hemp seed products as well, Lucy Pet Food, Kitty Lickies, Doggy Lickies, the brand new Doggy Lickies, which, by the way, are amazing. So if you have a question or a comment or just want to share, or think back, do you remember, you might have lived with 100 dogs or 50 dogs in your life. Is there one dog or cat that really sticks? You love them all. I know you do. But is there one dog or cat that sticks out in your mind that you can say, this was we all have special bonds, but this was a very, very special bond. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Does your pet have you and you have similar personalities? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. So I am broadcasting today from beautiful Arizona, where this week it was like 105 degrees and they're predicting 110. They keep telling me it's a dry heat. I'm waiting for the dry heat. Not too bad. Realistically, how often are you outside? You're in the house, you're in your car, you're in Costco. Let's be realistic. So the heat's not bothering that much. However, in my backyard, I've realized that Molly and Willie, I walk out there barefoot and I say, you know what? This is way, way too hot for Molly and Willie to walk out there. So what am I going to do? So just the other day, here's how eccentric I am. Just the other day, I said to Denise, you know what? We're going to get rid of the stone, or we're going to get some AstroTurf. But not just any AstroTurf. There's certain AstroTurfs that have cooling in it, certain AstroTurfs that are a little bit denser, which means it's softer on the dog's feet. And I think that's great and that's dandy. So we had someone give us an estimate. And as I'm talking to him, I said, what about a mister for the house where Denise and I sit? Well, he said, yeah, we do misters too, and we could have put a mister right up there. Then I'm thinking to myself, I'm under something. What about Molly and Willie? So I said to the guy, is it possible to put a mister along the fence where Molly and Willie hang out? So when they poop and pee, it's nice and cool for them? He said, Warren, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never had anyone ask me to put a system up for their dogs to keep them nice and cool when they're peeing and pooping. I said, well, it may be a first, but that's what we're going to do. I am going to make sure that Willie and Molly, I do that all the time. I put their names together. Willie and Molly are going to have a nice, cool hangout in the yard for them. So me and Denise might be sweating, and me and Denise might be hot and a little sunburnt, but Molly and Willie can poop and pee in nice, cool weather. That's just me. The guy thought I was absolutely crazy. What do you mean you're not going to put up a mister for you? You're going to put up a mister for the dogs? Well, they need it more than I do. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Was that a stupid thing on my part? I mean, would you do that with your dogs? I mean, the guy thought I was nuts, but would you do that with your dogs? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA. Plenty of time for your calls. I got some great stories to share with you guys today. A lot of really important information. That's going to really make your relationship better with your pets. For example, we get so many calls on the show about people adopting cats and bringing a new cat in a home. And bless you guys, I adore you for doing that. But on the other hand, I also get the calls where the cats may not be getting along with each other. So we're going to take a look. I wanted to do this again last week, but you know me, I always run out of time. Reduce the conflict between cats when a new cat comes into the household, especially around the litter boxes. So we're going to talk about that as well. As I said, plenty of time for your calls. Lots of pretty incredible stuff to give away here on the Pet Show as well. Now, I'm going to be giving away some all-natural herbal flea spray. And one of the reasons I decided to give that away this week is that I don't have to tell you guys, the weather in LA has been absolutely insane with a lot of rain this year, which means that fleas are going to be absolutely insane. And there are certain pets when one flea bite can cause a flea dermatitis. So I'll be giving away some all-natural herbal flea spray as well. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. If you have a question or comment about your dog or cat not being housebroken or using a litter box, not walking properly on a leash, maybe your dog doesn't come when you call him, maybe he jumps on neighbors or he's barking consistently, that's what we do here on the show. We try to resolve these issues. So as amazing as your relationship is with your dog or cat, we can even improve it and make it a lot better. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA. Or if you prefer, you can ask me a question on YouTube. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein, YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein, and you can take a look at this amazing 2005 to 2024. How many years is that, Alex? Come on, do your math. I know you're good at it. He's trying to figure it out. I know it's a lot of years, but I have even T-shirts. Oh, and Denise, my lovely wife Denise, who worked at in rock radio at KLOS for many, many years, has a collection of rock and roll T-shirts from groups I never even heard of. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let me take a break, and then we'll get to you, Adrian, in Glendale. Got a bunch of open lines. We're just starting the show. Lots of great stuff to give away. As I said, Hugs and Kisses is back. I got some copies of my books, Lucy Pet Food, Kitty Lickies, Doggy Lickies, Hip to be Square, Dog Treats, lots of great stuff. Great time to call me, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break, then we'll get back to your calls. And by the way, again, you can ask questions on my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. But right now, a quick break, then we'll get back to you, Adrian. Listen. Mighty Mouse, my hero growing up. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Question of the day, pretty simple. Do you and your dogs or cats have similar personalities, or maybe your dog or cat has a personality similar to someone else in your house? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you, or any other questions or comments you have. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Adrian, we're going to get to you in just a second. Before we do that, you know, losing a pet can be as devastating as the grief you experience losing any family member. And some people make the difficult choice not to be in the room when it comes time to say goodbye to their dog or cat. So a poignant question was asked to a veterinarian this week on Twitter. And the vet was asked, what is the hardest part of their job, and what was the hardest part of their job? And this is how the vet responded. The vet responded with a heavy heart. The most difficult part, I'm going to tear up now. The most difficult part is seeing an elderly dog or an elderly cat or a sick dog or sick cat searching for their owners in their final moments. The most difficult thing for a vet is watching an elderly or sick dog or cat searching for their owners in their final moments. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But I know, for example, personally, whenever I have to say goodbye or one of my pets is moving across the Rainbow Bridge, I want to hold them. I want to kiss them. I want to hug them. I want to know that as they cross the Rainbow Bridge, they're loved. And I guess I can't criticize people that just don't have that ability to do that. But the vet's saying the look in their eyes when they don't see their person and they're taking their last breath is just devastating. Give me a call if you want to question that. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Adrian in Glendale. Hi, Adrian. Welcome to the show.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great. What can I do to help you out today?
Hi. So I have a cat. Her name's Harley. I adopted her like 8 years ago. And when I adopted her, I think her previous owners might have given her up for adoption because she had problems not using the litter box consistently. She was like peeing on couches, beds, other furniture. And after adopting her, I've noticed throughout the years that she does, in fact, pee on furniture. She'll have like months where she's great, but maybe every 3 or 4 months she'll have an accident. And I'm actually moving to Glendale, California, from Burbank, so just down the street. But every time I move, I seem to have this problem where she tends to, forget that she has a litter box or doesn't want to.
Well, it's not a matter that she tends to forget. It's not a matter of her tending to forget that she has a litter box. Look at it from her point of view. She had a home before yours. She was given up. She went to another home, now she's going to another home. So it's more of a territorial response or a change response and, hey, I want to pee on your new rug. So what we're going to do here is a little bit different. Prior to moving into your new location, by the way, welcome to Glendale. You can walk to the station from there. By the way, when you move to the new house, prior to moving into the new house, my recommendation would be, number one, is make sure that everything of yours is there before you move in. And not necessarily cleaned. Her litter box maybe with a little poop in it, her bed not washed, your stuff, just make sure it's as similar to your home as possible. Then if you can, when you move to the new location, I want you to spend a couple of days, if possible, take off work and hang out with the cat at that point. Also make sure there are a lot of other things for the cat to be distracted by, the cardboard boxes, the plants, the paper bags, all that stuff is really, really critical. Now, if she were to have an accident in the new location, if you hit it and catch it right at the beginning, it's going to be a lot easier to stop. So number one, I want you to make sure when you do move to the new location, the first thing you purchase is a black light so you can make sure if she is having accidents around the house, you would see them, the black light would pick up on it. Once you found out that she is having accidents, what I want you to do is obviously clean up those areas with an enzymatic pet cleaner. That's important. Spend more time with her in that area. That's important as well. I'm assuming if she goes to the vet and she's healthy, there's no physiological reason for her to be having accidents?
Right. I think it's mostly psychological.
Okay, so it sounds to me, and very often cats have an incredible memory. And when they go from one location, or even a little change within an environment, if they've been moved from one location to another, can kind of throw them off and make them a little bit more territorial. So one of the things I'm definitely going to suggest you do is just try to make sure everything is there beforehand, even some of your clothing. And I don't know if you're sloppy like me, throw some on the floor, whatever you need to do to make the home is possible. Also, put down, if you have one litter box now for the cat, put down a second litter box, not for life, temporarily, just to give her that opportunity. And as I said, if you can get everything into that house and the scents are similar, you should be fine. And the first time she has an accident, if you control it the way I suggested, that should be the last time she has it. That help you out a bit there, Adrian?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask just one quick follow-up question?
Absolutely, sure.
Do you have any recommendations of litter box placement? Maybe like particular areas maybe that makes cats feel a bit more comfortable using it?
That's such a great question, and I'll tell you why. A lot of litter box issues and litter box problems are related to where the litter box is placed. Some cats, like some people, want the door closed when they go to the bathroom, and some cats are pretty private about where they go and how they want to go. So, where is your litter box now in the place that you're leaving?
The place I'm leaving, it's right, kind of in the corner, I guess, of the living room. It is a little bit private, and I think that's probably the only good place to put it right now. But in the new place I'm moving to, I have a lot of options.
Okay, so what I would do is I would have at least, when you go in there, 2 litter boxes. I would put one in an area maybe not unsimilar to where it already is in your house, but I would put down a second litter box in even a more quiet area. The cat's going to be a little stressed. She's in a new environment anyway. So I would put down a second, maybe even a third litter box temporarily, not for life, in areas that are relatively quiet. A lot of people like to use the laundry room because it's easy to clean up. I'm not a big fan of bathrooms for litter boxes because the scent of us using the bathroom sometimes creates a scenario with the cat. So that's what I would do at this point. I would just try to put that second litter box, one pretty kind of secluded, and then the other litter box in an area that's kind of similar where you have it already.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, Warren.
Anyway, good luck on the move. Don't go anywhere, Adrian. I'm going to put you on hold, and we are going to send you for your cat. You know, I'm going to send you some kitty lickies. Give her some kitty lickies, and she'll never pee again. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. So let me toss this at you guys. You just heard me do this story that the most devastating thing, a vet responded by saying the hardest thing he ever has to do is seeing an elderly dog or cat that has to be euthanized, looking for their owners. I'm using the owners because that's the word he used. He was looking for their owners in their final moments. It says it breaks his heart. It's disheartening, and according to veterinarians, about 90% of pet owners choose not to be in the room when their dog passes away. 90%. That kind of shocks me. I thought more people would want to be holding their dogs or their cats. Personally, when I have the opportunity and I have to say goodbye, if possible, I try to have it done in my home. A vet come to my home, make it more personal. You know, have the cat and a dog in its favorite bed, on its favorite couch, maybe a candle. I know I may be a little eccentric. Maybe music playing in the background, then a good 10 or 15 minutes of just telling the dog or cat how much they've been loved. What do you think? Do you want to be, when you have to say that final goodbye to your dog or cat, would you want to be in the room with them? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. I got some great stuff to give away. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I got a couple of open lines. Pretty rare on the Pet Show. We do have a couple of open lines here. 866-870-5752. I still got cat books to give away, dog books, Hugs and Kisses. I got hemp seed oil to give away, Lucy pet food, kitty lickies, doggy lickies, flea spray, all kinds of bitter yuck, hot spot foam, anti-lick, lots of great stuff to give away. So everyone that calls in and gets to talk to me live on the air will get a super gift for their buddy. Again, that phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Two questions out there now. Do you and your pets have similar personalities? Or when you have to say that final goodbye to your best friend, would you want to be in the room with them when they cross that rainbow bridge? I'd love to hear your comments on that. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Alice, don't go anywhere. We'll get to your calls in just a couple of minutes. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. A quick break, then right back to all your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. That's what I say. No more monkeys jumping on the bed. We are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Whatever questions you might have about your dog or cat's behavior. Or the two questions I've tossed out to you guys today. Do you and your pets have similar personalities, number one? And number two, when your dog or cat crosses the rainbow bridge, do you want to be there with them when they close their eyes for the final time? I'd love to hear from you guys as well. 866-870-KRLA. I was talking to someone this week on a different show, and they said, Warren, what do you think dogs dream about? A recent breakthrough research showed that dogs dream about, well, dog things: chasing cats, playing tug of war, fetching balls, and eating tasty table scraps. By the way, not recommended by me. In a nutshell, a dog dreams are closely related to its daily activities. That suggests that the dog's breed is likely to affect what the dog is dreaming about. For example, a golden retriever is more likely to dream about chasing a ball than a Maltese dog, who may be dreaming about sitting on the lap of their guardian watching TV. So dogs dream about a lot of different things. For years, it was just thought that dogs dream about, they move their legs, they dream about chasing. No, they dream about dog things. Just like we dream about human things, they dream about dog things. Let me get another phone call in there. Let's go to Alice in LA. Hi, Alice. Welcome to the show.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? What's up?
I'm great. Thank you so much for all you do for us with these pet families. It just is so helpful, so thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And how can I help you today?
Hi, Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
So
I just wanted to say thanks for all you do. And my question today, I have a little hound dog. He's about 20 pounds. He's a half Basset and a half Dachshund. I knew both parents. So he's hound dog to the core. And he's pretty social. We'll take him to the little dog park. We'll take him to the little dog daycare. He'll have play dates. And what happens is anytime there's a Frenchie or a bulldog or any of that type of dog, he just changes his attitude. He starts barking like this reactive kind of something's wrong, alarming barking right at that dog. And I've tried a couple different things. I've gone to one of the nice bulldog's owner and say, "Can I pet your dog first and then have my dog come up because maybe he's trying to protect us?" And so I'll be petting the bulldog, saying hi, and same reaction from my little Teddy. He just reactive barks, and so we have to leave the park or the situation. And I'm just not sure how to go about training or helping him or understanding
How old, Alice? How old is your dog?
Teddy just turned 4.
He's 4 years old, and this has been going on for 4 years?
Yeah, it's pretty much he just doesn't like that breed.
It's not that he doesn't like the breed. Dogs are very, very astute at picking up facial and body signals. And the facial signals on a bulldog are entirely different. Their teeth are showing very often, and the showing of teeth is a sign of assertive or aggressive behavior to another dog. So they really don't get that same feel that they might get with another. And bulldogs are the friendliest dogs in the world. So it sounds to me, I was going to make a French joke, but I decided not to. I want to stay on the air. But anyway, again, this is not uncommon. I get this frequently where a dog that gets along with all dogs will not react properly around a bulldog or certain mastiffs. And sometimes it's size, but more often than not, it's the expression on the face. They look in the face of a bulldog, and very often the teeth are showing. So what I would recommend that you do is I would recommend walking past, if you have some people you know that do have bulldogs, walking past them with your dog. If he starts reacting, just say it's none of your concern and keep walking, and make sure that after you walk past that, something very positive happens. So he starts, it's kind of like counter conditioning. I want him to think that the greatest thing in the world is seeing a bulldog. So you might want to take him for a walk past a bulldog and have his best friend or his best buddy at the other side. So again, something very positive is going to happen. And because they learn through the associative memory, having a positive situation every time can make all the difference in the world.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Thank
every
you.
Once in a while, every once in a while. Yeah, it's kind of like there are certain times, it sounds so prejudiced, and I don't mean it to, but there are certain times when you see someone. I grew up in New York, the Bronx, so you look at someone and they look different, or there's something about them. They could be the nicest person in the world, but you're misjudging them. And I think very often that's what happens with dogs and certain breeds, specifically bulldogs with those teeth and those mouths and their pushed in face, looking a lot different.
Thank you. I can't wait to try that this weekend. Thank you very much.
Oh, don't go anywhere, Alice. Let's put Alice on hold. And Alice, I am going to send you, and I'm going to send you some hugs and kisses for your dog. And great call, by the way. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, but dogs pick up on looks. People as well. I mean, years ago when I was training in Europe and I was doing really an advanced type of training, which I'm not going to get into with you guys, one of the things you had to do is be the bad guy. And in order to be the bad guy, you had to really be a good actor, called the agitator. Drool, and you got to get your adrenaline running. And so it's amazing how amazing dogs can pick up on certain things. 866-870-KRLA, that is the phone number. Oh God, let's go to Jerry in Pacific Palisades. Hey Jerry, welcome to the show.
How are you, Warren?
I am doing great, Jerry. A little warm here in Arizona, but I'm doing okay.
I'm waiting for the heat here.
Yeah, it'll get there, but it won't get there the same way it's here. Anyway, what can I do to help you out?
I just wanted to comment on your question about if your pet is going to pass away, if you should be with them. I think it's the most important thing in the world to me. That's happened. I've had a golden retriever and a cockapoo, both at the end of their life. They were a family member. We loved them to death. And I could not imagine not comforting her or them and having them in my arms when we were at the vet for their last time.
Yeah, I think it's so important for any living thing to know how much they were loved and adored as they're crossing over to the next area, wherever they're going. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's very important.
And to not have the fear of being alone and not knowing what's happening.
Exactly, and that's why I'm a big fan of, if you can, not everyone can, but if you can have the euthanasia done at home, that's ideal. Not everyone has that flexibility.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I see that there's another part of your question. It's kind of an interesting one. If you have more than one pet, should the other pet be there when the pet that's crossing the bridge is crossing the bridge? That's a great question. What do you think?
I've heard that that's important. I know I've known of a friend whose dog kept looking for its partner after it passed away and didn't know what happened. I've heard that if they can be there at the time of their passing, they're just more comfortable. They just like us, they have to say goodbye.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you, but I also think it's important that people understand. I'm going to get to all your calls, I promise. It's really important that people understand that when a friend crosses the bridge, whether that friend walks upright or not upright, if it's your friend, it's a very, very difficult time, and you're going to go through a grieving process. And a lot of people just assume that if a dog lives with other dogs or a dog lives with a cat and that cat crosses over, that dog's not going to grieve. Dogs and cats grieve just as much, if not more, than we do. That's why,
Absolutely.
and I talked about this a long time ago. You know, when my first wife passed away in 1990, at that point I had maybe 30 dogs, 25 cats, chickens, God knows what I had at that point. And because Faye and I had spent so much time at this old dilapidated farm outside of Albany, New York, that these animals knew that Faye had crossed over, and they were grieving as much as I was. And it actually helped me because I had to kind of get them through a little bit of their grieving period, and it gave me the time to get my grieving in order. So yeah, I agree 100%. Great call, by the way, Jerry. What do you have now? What kind of pets?
I have another cockapoo. When our past one passed away, we rescued her. We're her third home and her final home, and she's the most terrific little girl we've had for a long time.
So do you sit there and tell her that you're never going anywhere? This is it. This is the final home. You're not going anywhere?
We do. Actually, it's funny because she is very friendly and greets everyone who comes up to her. And whenever she does, we tell them, since we're her third home, she's just auditioning for her in case she needs a fourth home.
Well, anyway, you give her a big hug and a kiss. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you some doggy lickies, which I'm going to do a commercial for them right now. Some doggy lickies on their way to you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Nancy, the phones are ringing like crazy. I'm going to get to all your calls. You know me. If I have to get rid of some of my topics, I will. Not the one about using more makeup because you can't wait, Chef. I got to do that topic. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. Let me give Josh some time to get your phone calls answered. Quick break, then right back at you. Hey, listen, for months now, actually years now, you heard me talk about kitty lickies, and you were so excited. You hear people saying, Warren. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm going to get right back to the phones. We're going to get to you, Nancy. We'll get to you, Charlie. I got one or two open lines, so I got some great stuff to give away, 866-870-5752. But first, are you living with an assertive, rude dog? How can you tell? I wrote this week, so let me share it with you. By the way, if you're not following me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I share a lot of information there during the week. I post a lot of videos. It's free. Subscribe. youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. So how do you tell if you're living with an assertive or rude dog? Among the signs are that the dog is avoiding eye contact with you, won't come inside when you call their name, will rush ahead of you, walk away when you're talking to them. Also, you should pay attention to situations when they jump in your seat and won't move, or when they sulk when you do any kind of activity that doesn't involve them. My Molly does this all the time. I mean, I can resolve it. That's what I do for a living. But my Molly is always jumping where I'm sitting and doesn't want to move. And I say, well, if she's comfortable, then leave well enough alone. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let's go to Dan, then we're going to go to Nancy. Hey, Dan, welcome to the show.
Call.
Hi, Dan.
I'm calling about when dogs pass away.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. What's up, Dan?
My feeling is that they've been with me their whole life, and I would never let them go by themselves. I hug them and kiss them and tell them how much I love them.
God bless you.
And I have
okay.
them cremated, and they're all buried in my backyard in a nice little area under a pine tree.
Dan, you sound like one of those people that I don't know, but would love to know. I mean, the sensitivity of you, I could hear it in your voice. I can't see it, but I can feel it in your tears. The bond we have with our dogs and our cats is just so incredible. And over the years, I've been criticized so many times on various shows I did or whatever, when I say that to me, my dogs, my cats, my animals are as important as any human being. To me, they are. Maybe not to you, but to me, they are. So when that final moment comes and they do have to say goodbye and they do cross that rainbow bridge, I would want to be there with them every step. They gave me 100% for the time they live with me, such a short period of time we have them, that I want to make sure when they do cross, they cross knowing just how much they will love them. And I'm gathering you're the same way, Dan.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So what type of pets do you have now?
I've got 2 Labradors. A black Labrador who's 11 months old named Willow.
A baby.
And a yellow named Gus. It's about a year and a half.
Willow and Gus. So let me do this. Dan, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you some Lucy pet food for your dogs. What a great call. I mean, you could hear it in his eyes. You can feel it. I mean, I have been criticized over the years, and I'm sure so many of my listeners have, well, it's just a dog or it's just a cat. It's part of my family. It's as much part of my family as anyone else in my family. In fact, in some cases, more part of my family. I never get aggravated by my animals. So saying goodbye is really, really a difficult time. And when you do have to say goodbye, I think we're going to get to you, Charlie, we'll get to you, Nancy. I think it's so important to understand that sometimes we have this human ego that think we're the only ones that feel emotions, that feel sadness. You know, I've been talking to you guys for 44 years on the air. And the one thing I can tell you from personal experience, having had to say goodbye to so many dogs and cats and other animals in my lifetime, that anyone who ever thinks that their dog or cat doesn't have emotions, doesn't have feeling, doesn't know what love is, doesn't know what gentle is, doesn't know what kindness is just missing the boat. Once you can get past this human ego and realize just how much our dogs and cats are part of our lives, it makes things so much better. We'll take a break. When we come back, Charlie, Nancy, we want to get to your calls. Nancy lost a beagle. The other one's feeling left out. And Charlie wants to talk about that he was present when he had to say goodbye to his pet. I got a couple of lines open. I have hugs and kisses to give away. I got more Lucy pet food. I got those amazing T-shirts for those of you that really love animals that says none of my friends walk upright. I have flea spray to give away. Lots of great stuff. Great time to call me. 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752. Listen. Back on the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. My friend wrote on my YouTube, Warren, should you wake up your dog if they are having a dream at any time? You have to be a pretty astute guardian out there, because it depends. If the dog seems like he's dreaming about running in a field of lilies and rolling on his back and there's a smile on his face, let him dream. But if he's having a nightmare, that may be a time you want to wake him up very, very gently. And then someone actually said that their dog has been having nightmares about the vet a few times after being castrated just the other day. I don't think it's nightmares about the vet. I think maybe it's the medication and other things going on there. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. I'll go to Nancy, then Charlie, Patricia. Hey, Nancy, welcome to the Pet Show. Hey, Nancy. Oh, Nancy, what happened to Nancy? Did we lose Nancy? Nancy, call me back, 866-870-KRLA. But Nancy's question was kind of interesting. It was kind of about one dog, Nancy, call me back. I want to take your call a little bit further. We're going to get to you, Patricia. We're going to get to you, Charlie. Hang in there. I promise I'll get to your calls after the top of the hour. We're just going to take a short break there. But I want to talk about this for a moment because this is really important. You know, during the week, I do a lot of work with dogs and cats that have had situations. But I want to talk about this specifically. I wrote this week. I'm really proud of it. I put a list together of following ways unpredictability affects your dogs. You hear me talk about this all the time, how continuity, consistency is the most important thing you can do to have a well-behaved dog. But here are some of the issues that take place when you're living or a dog is living in a situation that's unpredictable. One person says something, one person says something else. It can cause destructive behavior in your dog. It can cause hyperactivity in your dog. It can actually cause aggression in your dog and displacement behaviors. What are displacement behaviors? If the dog is upset about one thing, he may react to something else. For example, sometimes displacement behaviors may be two dogs barking at the door who are best buddies, best friends, but they have this displacement behavior and one dog goes after the other dog. And withdrawals another thing. Does unpredictability affect your dogs the same way? Every dog may react differently considering that every dog is an individual. Oh, Manny. Okay. You know what? Let me do this, Manny. I don't want to rush you, so let's put you. We're going to get you as soon as we come back. We have to take a break for the top of the hour. Then we have Charlie. We'll get to your call as well. The phone number 866-870-KRLA 866-870-5752. Are you guys afraid to admit to me? Afraid to admit that your pets have the same personality as you or other members of your family? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Again, 866-870-KRLA. Maddie, we're going to get to you about your two beagles. We're going to get to Patricia in Reseda. We're going to get to Charlie in Pasadena. The phones are jammed. We'll get to all your calls after we take this break. 866-870-KRLA. You know, I was feeling bad when I started doing the show. I told you I had a really bad reaction to my COVID booster. I just had it yesterday, but I also take immune therapy. And so I guess I had it too soon and my body saying, you jerk. What did you do that for? Anyway, we'll get to all your calls, 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then right back at you. I'm Warren Eckstein, and you're listening to
Warren Eckstein, the man for your pets. We tried to stumble, but we haven't yet. Your dog is barking, your cat missed the box. Your ferret's chewed up all your favorite socks. You sure knows how to get inside your pet's head.
And if you love animals, you have definitely come to the right place. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, behavior, lifestyle show. Great time to give me a call. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I got one or two open lines, pretty rare, but let me tell you, I want to get to all your calls. I'm going to go to Manny, then I'm going to go to Charlie, then I'm going to Patricia, and David, I am definitely going to take your call. David wants to know, is there any value in having a dog get a vasectomy instead of neutering? We're going to talk about that. Great question, by the way, David. Not too often asked, and I'll give you my opinion on that coming up. But right now, let me go to Manny, who called back. Hey, Manny, welcome to The Pet Show.
Hey, Warren.
How you doing, Manny? What can I do for you?
Good, brother. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, I just wanted to comment on the thing of our best friend's last days, because I've had that twice. I've how can I say this? My pit bull, she was my best friend ever. Anyway, she passed away because of cancer, and I held her to her last breath.
God bless you.
And it was so hard on my family that probably like a couple years later, we went to go get another dog. So we decided to get a beagle, and we ended up getting two beagles. Well, last year my beagle actually passed away. One of them,
so
which
sorry.
was the brother of the one that we got. And
but Manny, how old were the two beagles when you adopted them?
Well, I got them as pups. They were newborns. Probably not maybe a month or so. Or
yeah. So what did the one that passed away? How old was he when he passed away?
About a year and a half.
Oh, yeah, really young. What did he die from?
I think it was anemia or something. I think something attacking the blood cells.
Anemic, yeah, okay, okay. So
he needed to get a blood transfusion, and we couldn't afford it. It was just way too much.
You know, in parts of the country, just so you know for the future, in parts of the country now, you know, because transfusions are expensive, but there are dogs. Actually, there are veterinary hospitals that adopt dogs from shelters, give them this incredible home, and they become blood donors at that veterinary hospital. So in future, we know that. But I guess your question for me is that you had the two beagles, one of them passed away, and how's the other beagle reacting now?
Well, my other beagle, because Charlie and Noel's the one that passed. Charlie is the one I have right now. He saw me bury his brother, and ever since he kind of had, well, not now, but he had a grudge against me when I did that. Now things are okay. He's with me. He walks with me everywhere. We're inseparable.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know if there's separation anxiety, because I kennel them when I leave the house because I work. So when I kennel them at night or when I have to leave so they're not roaming around the house, you know, I come back and it's just excessive barking.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things going on here. Something I was going to talk about it. To confine your dog and not to confine your dog, that is the question. Confinement distress. Dogs with confinement distress tend to show signs of anxiety or even panic when they're confined, whether it's a crate, a kennel, or even a small room. Signs suggest confinement include yawning, lip licking, chewing, a lot of barking. Why are they in a kennel? What do they do? What's going on if they're not kenneled?
Oh, well, I only kennel them probably at night. So
during the day, if you go out during the day, he can run around the house?
Yeah, during the day, he's running around the house. It's only like when I go to the store, I don't want to leave him, by himself.
Think about why he's panicking. He associates now you leaving with going in the kennel. So every time you put him in the kennel, he just assumes that, guess what? Manny's going to be leaving. So what I would do to resolve this issue and make him more comfortable, if you want to use the kennel, that's your option. I'm not a fan of them. But if you want to use it, that's okay. What I would be doing is during the day, I would put a special toy in there, let him go in, let him come right out. Even when you're with him, I would go maybe lie down along the kennel and play with him there. I don't want him to associate that every single time you put him in the kennel means you're leaving. So put him in the kennel for 5 minutes, don't leave. Then let him right out again. Let him build up that confidence, knowing that just because he's in the kennel doesn't mean that you're going to leave. That's if you want to use a kennel. None of my dogs are kenneled. That's an option that people can use. I deal with a lot of confinement issues where dogs really develop issues by being overly confined. But if you're more comfortable and he seems okay in that, that's fine. But he's so excited to see you when he comes back. But if you counter condition him to think that the kennel is not a place that means Manny's living, it's a place that's really happy and fun, then I think that whole attitude of his will change.
Yeah, copy that. All right. Thank you.
Manny, I bless you for doing that. Anyway, don't go in. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm actually going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. It'll go through some series. There's a whole chapter in there on confinement and why sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not so okay. But confinement can really cause a lot of issues. And very often, even some trainers will use confinement as a punishment. I mean, if you want to use a kennel for your dog, I think everyone should have a kennel, especially in California where earthquakes and God knows what can happen for transporting. But if you want to use a kennel for confinement, I'm not going to go off on you. If that's what you want to do, crate, whatever you want to do is fine. However, just make sure it's not a punishment. It's a safe, happy place for the dog if that's the way you're going to use it. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me take it. You know what? Let me go to David. Then we'll go to you, Charlie, Patricia. But let me go to David right now. Hey, David, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hello, Warren.
David.
Thank you so much for a great show that you provide us all with.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, it's an interesting question you have. And what is that question again?
Well, I have an 8-month-old golden retriever who's intact, and I'm a responsible dog owner. I'm not planning on doing any breeding, and I'm left with the choice of waiting a little longer to make sure I don't have any hip dysplasia issues with either a neutering or it was suggested to me that I might consider vasectomy, that leaving the dog intact actually continues to provide some good hormones well past that year or year and a half that you might delay neutering for a large breed dog, and I value your opinion.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, most veterinarians I know would never perform a vasectomy on a dog. Did your vet recommend that?
No, a vet did not recommend it, but there are several in Southern California that will perform it.
Right. First of all, a lot of people will go that way. They think it's because it's less expensive. But here's the issue that I have. After a vasectomy, the testicles continue to produce testosterone. This means that your pet will have the same male behavior that he had before the vasectomy. And one of the reasons for neutering is to, calm them down a little bit, make them happy a little bit, not drive them crazy. So I don't think it's really fair to a dog that's going to have all this testosterone and you're going to be around a lot of other dogs. So there's going to be, just because he can't do it doesn't mean he's not going to hump every dog he sees. So I think there's a lot to be said in terms of neutering. If you want to wait to neuter, a lot of people do. I don't have a problem with that. Vasectomy, I'm surprised there are so many vets that would be willing to do it because quite honestly, in all the years I've been talking to people on the air, you're the first person that asked me about a vasectomy for their dog.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the recommendation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, no, don't go anywhere. I appreciate your call, and I want you to speak to some veterinarians. I know you've gotten some recommendations. Speak to the veterinarians, and as a matter of fact, what I would recommend is maybe you go online to University of California, Davis, to the veterinary school, and get some of their research on vasectomy versus neutering. And again, the fear is, the dog's not going to be able to breathe. There's not going to be unwanted puppies, but the dog's going to be the same as if he weren't neutered. Therefore, he's going to be humping everything, and other destructive behaviors may be there as well. So that's an option you got to make. But don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. You are going to get a jar of my Hugs and Kisses supplement for your dog, and I do appreciate that phone call. What an interesting call that was. Charlie, Patricia, we're going to get to you, but should I... a vasectomy. I got to be honest with you, it's the first time in all the years I've been on the air that someone actually has brought that. It's an interesting concept, but again, the feeling as a behaviorist is that it's not going to change the behavior having a vasectomy. It just prevents the dog from breeding. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Charlie in Pasadena. Hey, Charlie, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi there. Thank you so much for taking my call.
It is my joy, Charlie. What can I do for you?
So I have two topics. One, I have an aggressive cat presently, and secondly, I did euthanize my previous kitty, and it was a positive experience. So which one would you like me to go first?
Start with the euthanasia, and then we'll talk about the aggressive cat.
Okay. So I moved into a neighborhood, and a cat adopted us. And nobody took claim for this cat, so we renamed him Smitten. And then the neighbors down the street said, oh, no, that's our cat, Tigger. So from that point on, we sort of co-parented this cat. He lived to be almost 21.
God bless you.
Outside. He predominantly lived outside because with his previous owners, he wanted to be outside.
Well, that's pretty rare. I mean, the average lifespan of an outdoor cat is 3 to 5 years. So having a 21-year-old cat, it's pretty amazing.
It was unbelievable. He was an amazing cat. He was a badass. I don't know if I can say that on the air. I gave him a heated bed in our master deck, which was he had to climb a 15-foot oak to get to this, climb 15 feet to get into this heated bed, and it was his happy place. And so I think, I prolonged his life because I don't know where he was sleeping outside before. But anyway, we co-parented him. They said, okay, we'll pay his vet bills, and we'll just take care of him together. So that's what we did. And then he got very sick, and he was dying, and I wanted him to die with me in my home because he was starting to sleep inside and with me. And our co-parents, they wanted to euthanize him because they didn't want him to suffer. And I could see that he had sort of gone into this place where perhaps he wasn't in pain. He was just letting go. Yeah. So we agreed to take him to the vet and euthanize him. And I was so happy I was there. And I do get emotional because he was such a sweetheart, and he didn't die alone. And the vet was amazing. I wanted to ask your opinion because the only thing he would eat towards the end of his life was raw eggs. That's all he would eat. So they called him the egg kitty because he wouldn't eat any cat food. He wouldn't eat anything else. And so I gave him raw eggs, and he ate those. And then I just started giving him the yolks, and it seemed to get him through. So I didn't know about, that's kind of a third side question, but.
Well, it's not really a side question, but at 21 years old, I don't care if he wants to eat my car, feed it to him. It's at that point, you want to give him whatever he's going to eat. If it was a younger cat, I'd say no raw eggs, no. But in other words, at that point, at 21 years, what a great story though in terms of you co-parenting with the neighbors. I think that goes on a lot more than people know about, especially with cats. Even though I'm such an advocate for cats to be indoors versus outdoors, the world doesn't always listen to Warren. So, especially when I do my national Canadian show, which I do after this, a lot of those are in maybe rural areas of Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, and the bottom line is a lot of people do let their cats outside and they kind of co-parent with their neighbors. It's amazing how maybe the people don't get along, but the cats get along.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice with this guy. There were 4 cats in his home of origin, and 2 of them were very menacing to him, so he preferred to be outside, and this was from when he was like 6 weeks old. They could not keep him inside. I live in the hills. It's coyote territory. I don't know how this cat survived, but he went through some unbelievable outdoor experiences. I can't get into all of them, but he was amazing. And so he died, Sir Smitten Tigger the First.
Well, there you go. Smitten. You were smitten with Smitten. Anyway, great.
Well, I asked my husband, I said, how do you explain a cat that falls in love with you, like, immediately? And he came back like 15 minutes later, and he said, Smitten. So we called him Smitten.
What a great name. And you got a good husband, too, for coming up with that. So what kind of pets,
right.
Do you have any pets right now, Charlie?
I do. I adopted another cat. Now, truth be told, she is an indoor-outdoor cat because I needed a cat like Smitty did. He managed the rodents on that hillside for about 8 different houses. So we all agreed nobody put any poisons out, and he was outdoors most of the time. But he was pretty safe because coyotes couldn't get him in his little bed.
Well,
I'm in the same... Yeah. Pardon me?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Anyway, so I adopted a cat, not from the Humane Society, but from the next door app because she was a hunter, and she replaced somebody, and she did a great job. So she's great. She's indoor, outdoor. We monitor her behavior, and so far she's doing great. However, she's very aggressive, and she bites and scratches, which is not pleasant. And she's very sensitive emotionally. So if I'm upset about something, she will bite me or scratch me.
Let me do this. Charlie, let me do this. I don't want to rush you, so let me put you on hold. I'll come back to you. Let's put Charlie on hold. Patricia, you're up next. Barbara in Huntington Beach, we're going to get to you as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break here, and then we'll get back to your phone calls. Great story, by the way, Charlie. Lucy Pet Food. Come on, now, what else can I tell you about Lucy Pet Food? Don't blame me if your dog or cat is not. That's all you got to do is look into their eyes. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That number 866-870-KRLA. Coming up, if we have time, I want to talk to you about disinfecting your pet's toys. It sounds like a not the most sexy topic, but I'm telling you, it's real important. We'll try to get to that. But right now, let me go back to Charlie, then Patricia, then Barbara. Charlie, you still with me?
Yes, hi.
Okay, so let's talk about this aggression. First of all, I know you said it's an outdoor cat, indoor-outdoor cat. When it's showing aggression towards you, is it outdoors or is it indoors?
It's indoors.
Okay, it's indoors where the aggression takes place. So how often and how much time is the cat spending indoors?
She spends most of her time indoors. Unlike Smitty, she is really not a full-time outdoor cat at all. She likes to go out. She stays very close to the house. She sniffs around, and she comes back in. So she doesn't wander.
Yeah, but it's not unusual. It's not unusual for a cat that goes outside like that, that gets the scent of other cats or whatever other animals are in the area, then comes back into the area where it feels comfortable, and that's where the guardians are, for them to challenge the guardians at that point. What is your reaction? What is your reaction when he becomes aggressive?
When I'm mixed. You know, I had a cat many years ago, and I learned with him to just not react and just pull away quietly, so it didn't become a game, and that really worked with him. With her, I don't know what her background is. The person I adopted her from, I think she was passed around about 6 months at a time with a group of friends, and I wound up with her during the lockdowns. So
Well, it makes perfect sense. Then the aggressive behavior, the fact that the cat's been in many different locations before she got to you. Now she's in this location. She's outdoor, smelling the scent of other cats. Indoors, her safe zone is where she eats, where she hangs out with you. It would not be unusual for her to become more assertive inside at that point. So a couple of things I would try. Number one is when you're with her inside the house, just make the house more outdoor interesting. In other words, you hear me talk every week about cardboard boxes, paper bags. They're free. Be creative. Put one on top of the other. She has so much, what's the word I'm looking for? So many things to look at and focus on outside. And you might have a nice house and a great house, but let's face it, most houses are pretty boring from a cat's point of view. So if you would make the inside of your house more interesting, she might even spend more time indoors. But again, she won't be as focused on you as she will be on all the other items within the house. That's probably why the aggressive behavior. Anytime you have a dog or a cat that's gone from home to home to home to home, and they finally find that forever home, it can go one of two ways. They become really, really passive or a little bit assertive. In your case, a little bit of assertiveness. But if you follow that advice, I'm sure she'll be absolutely fine.
Well, I try to keep her entertained for sure. I mean, the house is sort of her house.
Yeah, make sure there's plenty of boxes. Be creative, cardboard, one on top of the other, and change them every day. Outside, everything changes. Inside, it doesn't. So it might be the same box you had down there for 2 days. Cardboard boxes, change them every day. Cut holes in them, put them on top of each other. Make it indoor interesting, and the focus when she comes inside now will be less on you and more on all these new items that are changing on a regular basis.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Warren. I really appreciate it.
Charlie, you give her a big hug and a kiss. Don't go in there. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, because you love cats so much, I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. And enjoy this new cat. But that's the reason. I'm so glad that people will call me, because I get calls and emails during the week. Well, I'm getting rid of the cat because it showed this, or I'm getting rid of the dog because he humped the neighbor's leg. No, there's no such thing. Once it comes into your home and it kisses you and it pees, it's there for life. If you have an issue, that's what I'm here for. Give me a call. Go to my YouTube channel. That's what I'm here for, to help you resolve, or speak with your vet. There's so many resolutions that can make all the difference in the world. And it really makes me nuts that so many dogs, and cats for that matter, but more dogs than cats, wind up at shelters based on the fact they have behavioral issues that were created by the same people that turned them into the shelter for the behavior they don't want anymore. That's why I'm a firm believer that every shelter, and a lot of them do, has a potential adoptee sit down with a behaviorist, someone special who can really go over the what to do and what not to do to get the dog or the cat adapted to their new environment. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let me do this. I don't want to rush anybody. I know you've been hanging on for a long time, Patricia, but I want to get to you. Let me take a break. I want to get to your call. And I also want to get to you, Barbara, in Huntington Beach. Interesting question from Barbara as well. Do you have some open lines? Great time to call me. 866-870-5752. 866-870-KRLA. Before I break, though, why should you disinfect your dog's toys? This is another thing I put up on YouTube. Your dog's toys get covered in slobber, dirt, and anything else that's lingering on the ground. This means that dog toys and cat toys can be harboring anything from fungus to mold to mildew, even staph bacteria. Excuse me, by the way. There is the risk that they can be contaminated with parvovirus or distemper when they're taken on walks at the dog park. Besides all that, there's a risk of fecal contamination, E. coli, there's so many different problems. How often should you clean your dog's toys? Since dog toys are among the top 10 germiest items in the home, according to the International Sanitation Foundation, it's a good idea to give them a good cleaning at least once a month. I say once a week, but once a month is what they recommend. In an ideal world, as I said, weekly cleaning is better. And for those toys that suffer through hard play and are covered with slobber and dirt, who knows what else, get rid of them and get them some new toys. A lot of people don't ever think about the concept of having to clean their dog's toys or their cat's toys. But we know that dental disease and other problems with dogs can really be there, and that's why it's so important to keep their toys nice and clean. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me do this. Let me take a quick break before Alex throws something at me, and then we'll get right back to your calls. And I want you to listen to me very, very, very. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein, 866-870-KRLA. Patricia, Barbara, will get to you in just a second or two. My engineer, Alex, who's doing double service today, just sent me a note saying thanks to a statewide inaugural event. This Saturday, meaning today, might be the best time to adopt a new pet. The event, organized by California Animal Welfare Association and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, aims to make pet adoptions affordable and accessible while also raising awareness about shelters. All dogs and cats will be spayed and neutered, vaccinated and microchipped. To find a participating shelter near you, go ahead, bring a new friend to the house. I want you to visit California Adopt a Pet Day. Go to their website, which is caadoptapetday.org. That's caadoptapetday.org. Check it out. If you're looking to adopt a new dog or a new cat and give them that great home, today's probably the perfect day to do so. They're all waiting for a home just like yours, and I promise you, you'll be loved for the rest of your life. So check out, again, that's, you took it off, I can't find it. Just California Adopt a Pet Day. CA Adopt a Pet Day. Check it out. Get a new pet. Let's empty those shelters. That's okay. 866-870-KRLA. I'm keeping Alex really busy today. 866-870-5752. Let's go to Patricia first, then Barbara. Hey, Patricia, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hello there. Thank you for being there. I wanted to say that we have a new animal in the White House. They have a cat called Willow. And apparently they've actually have a book written about this lovely creature. I don't know that much about it. He or she, I don't know which it is. But anyway, any good publicity. I mean, I'm happy when the White House believes in our slogan of adopt, don't shop, right?
Yeah, but my question is always, is it a conservative cat or a liberal cat? That's always my question when you're owned by politics. Over the years, I'll be honest with you, some of my clients included Gerald Ford, and my favorite client of all time, totally opposite politically, was Geraldine Ferraro when she was running for vice president. She was a client of mine. I trained her dog, Sammy, in Forest Hills, Queens. And it's amazing that politicians, specifically politicians, have an incredible relationship with their pets because they're always on. And so many of the politicians I've dealt with over the years, they're always on. They got to be on here. They got to look right here. When they're with their dog or when they're with their cat, that is the one time they can really be by themselves. But luckily, in all the years of White House and presidents, so many animals. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, I believe, had donkeys living at the White House. The Kennedys had a whole load of animals, including a German Shepherd and a pony at the White House. The Bushes had animals at the White House.
I think somebody had a pig.
Yeah, I think they did have a pig. Yeah, I think they had a lot of animals at the White House. Some walked upright, some didn't. But anyway, they did have a lot of. But that tells you something about the people, and it's always amazing to me that there are certain people that don't have animals, and some people say, well, maybe they're not nice people. Maybe the people are just astute enough to realize that their job, their life is just a little too crazy, and it would not be fair at this point. So I got to look at it from both sides. But I didn't know there was a new cat in the White House. I guess there is. And what'd you say the cat's name was?
Willow. And
does Willow belong to the president?
Apparently so.
I hope he's got better behavior than the dogs did.
I know. Commander was the name, right?
I'm not going to get political at all here. Never get political, Warren. However, pets take on the personality of the people they live with. I'm just saying.
Well, if that's true, my cat is in her little basket bed, and she's not listening to us at all. So she leaves this part of it to me, and the purring and the making me feel good are in her. Wow. Well, she of course is. Another thing is that I think today they said most of the city shelters the adoption fee was waived.
Yeah, that's the website I just gave you guys. CAAdoptapet.org.
Well, when they say about the shelters being overcrowded, I hear that so much, but I don't understand why people they might have a really ordinary dog. I hate to say that, and they still want to breed them.
that's that's been a battle. That's been a battle of mine for years and years and years. I've since been such a strong supporter. I'm not an abolitionist. I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I'm not an abolitionist. There are certain breeders out there breeding for specific purposes. I don't have a problem with that. But over the years, there's been so much overbreeding and backyard breeders. And just because you have a male and a neighbor has a female doesn't mean you should breed them. You should have them spayed and neutered if you really love them. So you're absolutely right. So, Patricia, I got to move on.
When talking about Willow, apparently they said that the proceeds from the book would go to rescuing support. What do I want to say? Support
other rescues. Support other rescues. Yeah. Well, let me.
Right.
I don't know. No, I'm going to have to do some research, Patricia. I'm going to have to do some research on Willow and the book and find out more about it. When was the last time we spoke?
It's been a while.
Okay, so I'm going to send you something if it's been a while. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm sending you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright." I was unaware that they had a cat at the White House right now named Willow. I did not know that. I know they had problems with the dogs there, and quite honestly, I commented on that, and I'm not going to get political with anyone. I commented on that before, but the behavior of the dogs at the White House were directly related to, I'm not going to say to the president, but the people at the White House. And the dog should have never been in that situation where he was able to develop that type of assertive behavior because of the situation he was involved in. Horrible, horrible situation for the dog. He should have never have been there unless he was properly socialized and educated. And they just did it all wrong. They just did it all. It's best I can say. They did it all wrong. And who's the victim here? Of course, it's the dog. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 870-5752. Let me take a break. When we come back, we're going to get to you, Barbara, then you, Laurie, in Thousand Oaks. 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back at you. It was an interesting call, though, about politics. We're going to do a segment on that because I've worked with a lot of politicians over the years, and I can tell you a lot more about political people because of the way their pets react. We'll talk about that in the future. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. I remember years ago doing a segment on the David Letterman show talking about dogs that had the Peter Pan syndrome. And Dave thought I was a little eccentric about a lot of things. But I do believe a lot of dogs just never grow up. If you have a Peter Pan dog, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you as well. Hey, Alex, are we going to Barbara? She was holding. Did she get disconnected? Okay, let me go back to Barbara right now. Okay, so, hey, Barbara, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I am doing great. How about yourself? And thank you for being so patient.
That's okay, Warren. Hang on a second. I want to make sure that you can hear me.
Oh, I can hear you fine.
You can hear me?
Absolutely. Like you're right next to me.
Okay. Let me give you a little history on my dog real quick. He will be 17 in October. I've had him since he was 5 years old. He's my baby, okay? The reason I called is, and I don't know if this is just weird, but since he's since he's going to be 17, and of course, his sight's failing, and he's got some arthritis and whatever, and I start thinking about when he finally is gone.
Yeah.
I call it pre-mourning because there are times when I think about the day that he's going to be gone, I really get sad, and there's been times I've actually started sobbing. When he sleeps with me at night, and he lays next to me, and he always puts his hind feet in my hand. That's how he sleeps, with his two little hind feet in my hand, okay? When I go in the bathroom, I don't think I've shut my bathroom door completely in 17 years because I leave it a little open because he always peeks in to see where I am. When I get up, if he can be sound asleep and I can get up and leave the room, and I turn around, he's behind me. He's been with me through the death of my husband, my mother, my brother, and my sister.
Wow.
And he's been anyway, I'm trying not to get... See, I think about when he's gone, how am I going to cope without him?
Here's what you need to here's
Here's
what you need to understand, okay? Coping with the loss of a pet is very, very difficult. In many cases, even more difficult than coping with the loss of a human being, because of the relationship we have with our pets. What I always tell people to do when the time is coming and they know eventually that they're going to have to say that final goodbye to their best friend, make sure it's done in a way that's comforting for you and the pet. But more importantly, sit down and have conversations with the dog. Laugh together, cry together over some stupid things they've done in the past. So have those conversations. And what I always tell people is you're going to grieve, and there are bereavement counselors if you need it. You're going to grieve, and that's normal behavior to grieve on your part. But you just have to grieve knowing that you gave your dog the most incredible life after all these years that anyone could have given him. And the fact that he follows you everywhere, and the fact that he shows you every single minute of every day how loyal, how much love, how much the relationship means to him, live on that positive. I mean, yeah, it's sad. Go ahead and cry. I'll cry right alongside of you. In fact, I'll give you my hanky if you want it. But the bottom line is that's normal behavior. This has been something that you've been, your dog has been your companion, your best friend, your confidant. I tell my dogs things that I would never tell any other human being about my military service and other things. Yeah, so I think think of the good things. Think of the good things. That's what you need to do. Think of the good things.
I pick him up 100 times a day. Yeah. I kiss him. I tell him I love him.
Barbara, you're doing everything right. Do you have access to a computer?
Yes, I do.
I want you to go to my website. And I want you to check out this section called Ever After. The Ever After section on my website is just, it's 40 some odd years of people talking about having to say goodbye to their pets. And yeah, it's going to make you cry. It's going to make you smile. But I think reading how other people have dealt with the same thing you're dealing with every single day now really helped them get through. So it's kind of one of my most important places on the website, the After section.
Look at that. I've had dogs all my life. The day I was born, my dad brought me a puppy and a kitten. And so my whole life, I've never known. I have another dog that a lady threw out of a car, and I rescued her. And I have a rescue cat. I have a rescue ringneck parrot, and I have 2 parakeets. Okay.
Then, Barbara, before I run out of time, you're a very, very special person. And you deserve to feel the love, and you deserve to feel the relationship. Not everyone has that incredible bond between them and their dog or their cat or their rescued birds, but you do. And you should thrive on that bond. And you should know that you gave this dog the most incredible life you possibly can. And just they never leave us. I mean, I talked about this before. Even when they pass on, you're still going to smell the dog. You're still going to hear the dog. You're still going to see the dog. These things never go away. There's something special about animals that they never leave you. Sure, they cross the rainbow bridge, but something about them is always there. Hey, Barbara, I really got to move on, but what a great call that was. And if you want to talk to me more in the future, give me a call. We'll go further. But in the meantime, don't go anywhere. Let me put you on hold. And I'm trying to think what I want to send Barbara. Let's send Barbara, you know what? Let's send her some, let's send her some, you know what? I don't know what, let's send her a T-shirt that says none of my friends woke up right. What an interesting call. It's so hard to say goodbye. It's so hard, but you got to think about what would the alternative, what would this dog or cat have gone through if you weren't there to help them? Let me take a quick break. When we come back, Lori, we're going to try to get to your call, 866-870-KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. Here's the deal. Okay, we got a couple of minutes left before the top of the show. Lori in Thousand Oaks got a great call. She has an 18-year-old cat. The cat's always been perfect. Recently started to go beyond the litter box. Great response I have for that, Laura, but I don't want to rush you. Judy in Beverly Hills is calling with coyotes, and I'm in Arizona now, and I see coyotes every day, so I definitely want to talk to you as well. But we're kind of out of time. So, Lori and Judy, what I want you to do is write this number down. This is the phone number for my National Canadian Radio America Armed Forces Radio show, which starts at 1 o'clock as soon as I get off the air here. So write this number down. That goes for everyone out there. It's the same type of show. I give away the same type of gifts, except the show goes goes all over the United States, Canada, and to hundreds of bases around the country. And that phone number is 877-725-8255. But don't start calling that number till I get off the air here, because it goes to Washington, D.C., to Radio America. As I said, it's the same type of show. I'm going to ask the same type of question about personalities, which, by the way, no one answered. And that number, again, is 877-725-8255. With the time we have left, I just want to remind everyone that I can't always answer all the questions on the show, and that's why I've really expanded my YouTube channel. So if you've not gone to my YouTube channel recently, check it out. There's lots of great videos there. Everything is free. There's short videos, long videos, some fun videos as well. So just go to youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. And when you're there, subscribe. As I said, it's free, and I do share a lot of information. Sometimes it's just a minute tip or so. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. I did some great things on alpha dogs and my belief about that, and some cat situations as well. So check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. By the way, if you're listening, Lori and Judy, write this number down. I want you two to be my first calls on the national show. And again, the number for the network show, which starts right after I get off the air here, about 5 minutes after 1. That number is 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Let me thank Alex, who did a double duty today. He was doing more than his normal job of just sitting around hanging out. He was doing 2 jobs instead of 1. So thank you, Alex, for that. Till next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein. And once again, thank you so much for listening to The Pet Show.